Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes. We are soloing the Stalker with our level 38 Stalker. We are on the Envoy of Shadows story arc, and I have reduced this mission to +1, to +0. So normally we run at +2. We know that the Envoy is a little too tough to take at +2, so I beat him last time at +1. Leaving it on +1 for this mission, I came in, actually recorded a few minutes, came over here. We have to defeat the Envoy of Shadows. It's the last thing we have to do. I've taken out everybody else on this island. I did that last time. He was purple. He was +0. I think he was +1 to me last time, but he was purple last time. He was either +1 or +2. I don't remember. And he just kicked my butt. I could not. I got him maybe half hit points, but the problem is this version of the Envoy, which seems much more powerful, even though we have his true name and thus his vulnerability, so it's kind of weird. He was doing an AOE dot to me like a burn patch that I like. It's just a field around him, and I was just melting. Like I could not keep my hit points up. Overload helped, and so it just recharged. I waited, came in here, replenished my inspirations, came in here, took everybody else around him out. This Earththorn caster should fall in one shot, and then we go after the Envoy, and hopefully we can take him out before Overload dies, because I'm going to probably have to hit that just to begin with. And we just have a couple minutes, and hopefully we'll be able to get him in time. So last time I was able to assassinate, there was a Nervous Spectre Demon I was able to assassinate before waking him up, so hopefully we'll be able to do that again. But I'm going to hit Overload right now. Should I hit the inspirations first? Let's hit this and this, then Overload, and in we go. And hopefully it won't overload my. I didn't get him. Hopefully it won't overload my graphics card. Okay, now for the Envoy. We should have a better chance against him since he's +0. Whoops. Not if we do that. You really have to keep your hit points up because he can do massive amounts of damage to you. Look at this. Come on, click. I'm not going to survive if it doesn't react to my clicks. Yeah, I can't do anything to him. Look at how much damage he's absorbing. Even at +0. Let's try Placate. Try to crit him a little bit. Okay, we got him about halfway. He's gonna heal, I think. We might get him now. I think we might get him. Yeah, here's his heal. Okay, that's the only time he can do it though, I think. Just keep pouring on the defense so he can't hit me too bad. Heal. Quick, quick. Heal. Heal. Yeah, he can pour on the damage too. He's really brutal. I think I got him though. Got him. Just barely. You see that dot that he's got? It's just from standing next to him. Yeah, couldn't do it at +1, certainly let alone +2. And that's the problem. For melee, you have to stand next to him. And he's got that horrible damage over time. Took every inspiration I had, plus Overload and everything else, but we got him. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is set our mission difficulty back. Well, let's call our contact first and get our experience. I don't think it would have done anything, but I was just a little afraid if I switched the mission difficulty back. If there was a bug or something, it might have given me the experience for a +2 mission, which it shouldn't. So we just make sure that it wouldn't. I doubt it would. I'm sure they have. That would be an exploit, and I'm sure they don't. I'm sure the live game didn't allow that. But just in case, I didn't want to earn more experience than we deserved. We have now finished with Cadeo Kestrel, and we have defeated the Envoy of Shadows. And that gives us Ginger Yates. And is Colleen Nelson an actual contact? Does she give us stuff? Security chief in the sewers. We're not going to the sewers. I don't care about the sewers. All right, let's go to Founders Falls. At some point, yep, we're overloading. Okay, so we got to turn this off. So we just had enough time to defeat him before all our toggles dropped, right? We had maybe 30 extra seconds. And while I'm waiting, let's go to the base and we'll grab just our basic inspirations. And I'm going to put these bigger inspirations in because I used a whole bunch of them. So now what I want to do is replace. Excuse me, I had a sneeze there. So my logic on this is most of the time I don't need the bigger inspirations. A lot of times I don't pay any attention to it, but I do like to have a little bank of them for when we have a really tough battle so that we can draw on them. So we're going to put the bigger ones in here. We can buy the littler ones from... So maybe my mistake was going luck. Maybe what I should have done after overload was gone big sturdy on the envoy because he was doing unavoidable dot damage to me apparently. In fact, we can, while we wait, actually we turn our toggles back on. One of the things we can do is check the combat log and just look at what he was doing to me and why it was auto hitting. Like, let's see what it says. But first, let's grab these. Okay, so let's go to our combat log and see what he was doing. Flash stomp, flash stomp, flash stomp. So let's go to hit rolls. Look at this. Envoy of Shadow hits you with Flash Stomp. 6% chance to hit, rolled a .64. Envoy of Shadow, so misses you 6%, rolled a 16. Envoy of Shadow misses you, Great Sword 6%. So I had him floored. I'm just trying to see if there was a... Greater Fire Sword, 6% chance, roll a 6. Okay, he's going to do it occasionally. 6% chance, roll a 6. You see? So he hit me twice in a row with a 6% chance. Yeah, that's like a 1 in 1,000. Right? He didn't seem to have any auto hits. I don't know why he was doing that much damage to me when he only had a 6% to hit, but we basically floored him with overload and a couple of lucks, and he still was doing that much damage to me, which is crazy. All right, let's go to Ginger Yates and get some new missions. And guys, I think we're coming to the end of season, what is this, 3? Season 4 will be in the 40s. And what I may do is we'll do Ginger's story arcs, and then when they're done, then I won't record anything until we get to level 40 and start our new set of story arcs in Peregrine Island. Because I think this is the last... I don't know about Colleen Nelson, but I think this is probably the last NPC that gives us a story arc. If she wants us to go to the sewer security chief, we will go talk to him, and as soon as he gives us the mission, we will autocomplete, because I hate the sewers and I have no interest in doing sewer runs. I know a lot of people like doing them, but they're not for me. So... Devouring Earth. Okay, we timed mission, that's fine. We're going to King's Row. We can shortcut this by just traveling like that. So as you guys know, I play other games besides this. Besides other video games, I also play role-playing games. So I'm working on my Deadlands game for my my group, which is going to meet in a week for our second meeting. And I've already got like a stampede sound for Foundry. They're going to start hearing the running of the bulls because the devil bulls are now 5 days away from attacking them. But of course, they're also going to be fighting Mina Devlin, and so I'm kind of working on that. I've been trying to set it up so that it's a challenging mission, but not impossible. 5 bacterial bombs to burn. Okay. And so we are on +2, correct? Yes. All right. And these guys are +2. Good. That's what we want. Oh, we want accuracy against these guys too, because they have high defense. So the other type of game that I have not played in a long time, but I really would like to get back into, is board war games, hexes and counters, right? And again, I'm not saying hex and counter. I'm saying hex and counter. And so there are a lot of these games. I've been talking about Squad Leader, Advanced Squad Leader. That's super expensive, and they're very complicated, right? There's a really cool website called Board Game Geek where it has like the number of players per game, a rating of how much people like the game, and then a complexity rating. And out of 5, Advanced Squad Leader has a 4.87 or something. Like, it's one of the more complicated games, and it's expensive to get into. And I thought maybe I should get something a little less over the top. And there are other cool board games out there, and some that are designed for solitaire play. And so I've watched these YouTube channels where they're like, here's 10, the top 10 solo World War II board games, or the top 10 solo board war games, or whatever, or just the top 10 war games, period. And you can solo them, right? My ultimate goal is to try getting Advanced Squad Leader, because I've always wanted to play that game, and it looks really cool, and it is kind of like the granddaddy, or maybe not the granddaddy, but like it is sort of the king of, or was in the 80s and 90s, the king of board war games. And I always wanted to play it. If I do play it, I'm going to probably have to play it solo. So on the one hand, I like the idea of playing games that are made to be solitaire. There's one about Stalingrad, there's one about Manila by the same company, and now Berlin, I think, 1945 or something like that, where it's solo only. It says right on the box, solitaire only. So it's purposely designed to play solo, and apparently they're really fun, and they give you a really good war game experience, and you can play them in a few hours, and that all sounds great. But I also feel like if I do too much playing games that are designed to be solitaire, I'm not going to get a lot of the experience I'm going to need in playing a 2-player game solo, which I used to do, right? I did that when I played NATO, the Next War in Europe. I did that when I played Second Fleet. I did that when I played, just about you name it from Avalon Hill. I sometimes played with friends, but like Stellar Conquest was another one. It was a space war game. Super awesome, by the way. I don't know how they got away with it, because the biggest ships you could build were Death Stars. You had corvettes, cruisers, I think. Corvettes, destroyers, cruisers, and Death Stars. And I remember playing this one friend of mine, and it's cool because when you're playing against somebody, your stacks, you keep them upside down so they can't see what's in your stack until you enter the hex. And so he came into the one hex thinking he was going to fight a couple of corvettes, and it was like 3 Death Stars, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? How do you have 3 Death Stars?" Because they were expensive to build. And so I liked all those games. I generally played them by myself, so I had to figure out how to do it, right? And I feel like if I spend too much time playing solitaire games, right, I'm not going to be able to figure out how to play this 2 or multiplayer game by myself. It's sort of like MMOs, right? If you play only single-player computer RPGs and you never play MMOs, you're going to have a really hard time figuring out how to solo an MMOs. MMOs did not usually. City of Heroes is different. They made it from the beginning so that you could solo it, although that wasn't, quote-unquote, the preferred method. But many MMOs are designed so that you can't solo them. Right, so there are like MMOs, for instance, that if the group size is 5, they'll create a dungeon, and it's for 5 people of whatever level. And if you try to go in by yourself, you're going to die. You just simply cannot do it unless you have some kind of exploit or whatever. And you can overlevel it. I've done that. right? Where it's a level 10 dungeon, you go in at level 20, but then you do the dungeon, you complete the quest, but you don't get any XP, and the loot that you find, the loot drops and stuff are not. Did I do everything down here? Are not relevant to your to what you're doing. Yeah, I did. Okay, just checking. Um, and so I don't want to get really into the habit. I am going to buy a couple of the solo ones, but I don't want to get into the habit of playing games that are designed to be solo, and then when I actually am trying to play a really complicated game that's not designed to be solo, like Squad Leader or even Lock and Load, um, then I might not be able. I might struggle with it because I'm used to playing games that were meant for solo, right? Because if you're my experience with this is playing a two-player game by yourself is you've got to play both sides equally hard. I always remember the wonderful movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. At the beginning of the movie, throughout parts of the movie, they talk about Bobby Fischer and how he behaved and that sort of thing. Get out of the courts, get out of the courts, get out of the courts. He always puts the courts down when I shout them all. You see what they do to you when you have no defense? That's what happens if you don't have your toggles on. So in that movie, they said that Bobby Fischer would play. Oh, get out of the courts, get out of the courts. Would play both sides equally hard. And unfortunately, I midnight grass that guy, so he's stuck. Play both sides equally hard, right? Black and white, and try to let's play Kate. Play both sides equally hard and try to win as either side, and that taught him how to be a good chess player because he was looking at the board from both sides. And that's what you need to do. Now, I'm going to admit, when I was a kid, I didn't play both sides equally hard in NATO. I wanted NATO to win because it was the U.S. and the Brits, and those are the quote-unquote good guys. But as I got older, I definitely tried to make sure that I played both sides equally well, because otherwise, what's the point of playing it? You can just purposely, it's like cheating, right? You could just purposely play the Germans bad in a World War II game and they'll lose, but what's the point of even doing it? So in a solitaire game, there are rules that the developer makes, right? One of them, I think you draw cards each round to see what the enemy does. I hear a glowy. Where is it? Is it upstairs? Yeah. So unless you cheat with the cards, you flip a card and it says enemies dig in, +1 to defense or something like that. But if you're playing a two-player game, you're not going to generally have that. And so you're going to have to decide what's the best move for each. What's the best move for each, for both sides at each turn, right? And that takes some doing, right? You have to really try to be objective. I was watching a guy do this with Lock and Load, and it was really cool. I mean, like, he was like, okay, what's the best thing for the Russians to do here? Probably do this. Okay, now what's the best thing for the Germans to do here? Probably do this. And so, so I don't know. At some point, I'm going to have to really get used to playing the non-solo games by myself, unless I can find somebody to play with locally. I'm not really interested in doing like play by email. It's just that takes too long. Because you can do that. I mean, there are whole like websites devoted to like doing play by email board games, and you can join up and that sort of thing. But I think at least initially, until I get used to the game, I don't think I want to play by email. Right? Like, I wouldn't try to play chess. Like, you can play chess by email now. I would do it with my best friend if he wanted to in a minute. But I know chess really well. I was on the chess team in high school, and I learned all the moves, and I know how to do the notation and all the rest of it, although he and I would probably fight about the notation because I like the descriptive notation, bishop to king 5, rather than the more modern, like, bishop to a6. I don't like that. So I can't picture what c5 is. I know what queen's bishop 5 is. All right, that helps me picture the board. So I prefer that, and so he'd have to accept that notation from me. But I don't even know if he plays chess anymore. I haven't in a long time. But chess is awesome, um, and I know it enough that I could do it by email. But I wouldn't want to try doing a game I've never played before by email. I think that would be probably really hard. Another time mission? No, this is just regular DE. Um, so anyway, so I have a couple of games on my list that I thought, okay, these sound like they're solo-based games. Maybe it'll get me used to this hexes and counters stuff that I haven't done for a while, right? I was very into these games in high school and in junior high, high school, college. Where am I going? I'm trying to go to the train station. Um, and then it faded away, right? I don't own them anymore. I got rid of them. Eventually, at some point when I moved, I probably gave them away or threw them out because I said I don't need these anymore. And I actually went looking in my closet, like up in the top shelf where I still have the game Civilization and I have the game Rail Baron, which are also really cool games, but they're not, war games. And I thought maybe I knew they were up there. So do I maybe still have NATO? If I had it, I would totally break it out and play it again. Do I maybe have Second Fleet? I would totally break it out and play it again. I'd have to relearn it because I don't remember any of the rules, but I don't have them. Sadly, wish I had kept them because you can't really buy them anymore. Um, and that's the thing. So I said, okay, I'd like to get a couple of solitaire ones just to get my feet wet and then start getting some of the normal ones. And I was watching these top 10 lists, best board game, most fun board games. These are the ones I recommend, etc., from people who've been playing for a while. I'm like, okay, I can take their recommendations. I jot them all down. Can't buy them. Like almost nowhere. There's a store called Noble Knight Games that like they sell both new and used board games, and like even they don't have used copies of some of these, most of these. Go to Amazon, they don't have it. Company's website, out of business, So, okay, these might be great games, but what good does it do me if they're all out of print? So I found one company that their games aren't, like I tried Amazon. Um, the one company can't get any of it. Another one, um, it was like $106 for this game. It looked like a really cool game. You were controlling a single bomber and crewing it in World War II, and it looked really awesome. Can't remember the name of it now. Wasn't B-17. That was a different one. Um, but yeah, a lot of these you can't even buy them directly from the manufacturer. I mean, Advanced Squad Leader is the same way. There is a current manufacturer, but that manufacturer, not all the modules are available. A lot of them are out of stock, out of print. A few of them, it says like pre-order, and if we get 250 pre-orders, we'll reprint it. And right now, and it says how many, we got 175. I'm like, well, how long has it been? It doesn't say. It's 175 in the last month. Okay, I might pre-order it because in another month it'll go. But if it's been 175 in the last 10 years or 5 years or something, well, when is that ever going to happen? So, so one of the frustrations I've had with these board games is that a lot of them are really hard to get. And unless they've been published in the last couple of years, they're out of stock, out of print. I guess the company does a single print run, and then unless there's a huge demand for it, they don't. So I know the one guy did a review, and the guy who actually wrote the game said thanks for the review, and it was Stalingrad Attack on something, or Assault the Volga, something like that. That's a solitaire game, and he said, oh yeah, thanks for the review. It's currently out of print, but we're getting ready to do another print run. And then like several months later, somebody posted and said it's back in stock, and it is in stock on their company's website, but nowhere else. So yeah, that's been now my current frustration is when I do find a game that I think, oh, this might be interesting to play, I can't always get it. In fact, many of them are not purchasable. Or you're going to have to get an open box used copy. Which isn't necessarily the end of the world if it's in decent shape. But not ideal. I mean, I'd rather have my own brand new copy to open rather than somebody's from 3 years ago that they played and then they clipped the counters, and I don't want the counters clipped or whatever. So, any rate, that's what I've been kind of dealing with over the last few days. Just looking up games and getting, like, it's frustrating because I look up at games and this looks like a really cool game. The board looks interesting. The mechanics sound really interesting. Have I been everywhere? I think so. This looks like a really cool game. I'm excited to try it. Look it up. Amazon, eBay, whatever. Not available. Not available new. Not available used. Or worse, oh, it's available used for $285 in fair condition because it's some kind of a rare game, right? Yeah, it is a great game. Everybody wants to play it. Therefore, the people who own it haven't resold it, right? Because it's a good game. Why wouldn't you keep it? That's the big advantage of electronic stuff, is it doesn't run out. I mean, you can get stuff that goes out of publication. It happened to City of Heroes, right? They canceled it, but while it was available, they didn't run out of copies. But yeah, it is actually a very similar experience to the City of Heroes experience I had right back in 2019 when I was in the mood. Right, it had been years. I hadn't played COH in 10 years. I was in the mood to play it, but it's long gone, and I started looking for games. I tried once again Champions Online. Like, no, it just didn't scratch the COH itch for me. It's just not the same kind of game. And so I found it. You know, I played it for a month. I've done this many times with Champions Online. I play it for about a month. When the free, you know, I subscribe for a month. I play it. When the subscription's over, I just cancel. I just can't get into that game. It's a shame because I love Champions, but I don't really like the art style of that game, and I definitely don't like the UI at all. And I hate the way they do augments or whatever they're called instead of enhancements. Again, they were, I'm sure, trying to avoid getting sued by NCSoft for making too similar of a game, but I didn't really like the differences that they put in play. So I had the same sort of experience with City of Heroes, right? I want to play City of Heroes, but it's not available at any price anywhere. It's back now, but we're very lucky that it is, and in many cases the game just never comes back. It's always frustrating. At least with a board game, if you buy it and you own it, you can play it forever, right? If I hadn't got rid of NATO: The Next War in Europe, I could be playing it today, and I probably would be. I'd probably have it all set up on my kitchen table, dining room table, and make a mess. And it would be out there for 2 weeks while I'm trying to figure out how to play it. There's a kidnapped victim. And of course, I overshot. Yeah, we'll leave the accuracy on. It's fine. So the accuracy mostly is for the bedrocks because they do have high defense and can be hard to hit. And even the rubbles can be. Normally, you wouldn't need them against +2s, but I wouldn't need the focused accuracy against +2s, but some of these DE do have very high defense. Right, so as long as these guys are around, I'm going to just leave it on. Our endurance has been okay. So that's sort of the irony of focused accuracy, right? And this is, again, something to think about. Focused accuracy eats endurance. No question about it. However, on the flip side, if you miss 3 or 4 times because focus accuracy is not running, that's going to eat more endurance. Okay, think about it. Right, we're making an attack, roughly, let's say an attack a second. Right? So let's take a look at the numbers. If focused accuracy is running, and we fight 3 guys, right? And let's say with it running, it takes us, say, 6 attacks to take out the 3 guys, right? So that's 6 seconds. Focus accuracy is using about a third of a 0.3. So it's going to use about 2 endurance during those 6 seconds. But if we just say, let's say Smite, taking sort of an average endurance here, right? Smite is using 5 endurance. So that takes 30 hits, 30 endurance to do 6 hits. But let's say we turn off focus accuracy. Now we have to do 12 hits, right? That's going to take like 60 endurance instead of 30. That's going to be way worse than leaving the focused accuracy on for a few seconds, right? We're saving 3 or 4 endurance by turning it off, but if we're going to miss 6 or 7 times, or even 1 extra time, it's probably not worth turning it off. Where are we going here? North? Where haven't I been? This way? Yeah. And then there's going to be an elevator? Yeah. Okay. So if you want to get the assassination in, and I basically just felt like doing it, you don't really have to. If you want to get the assassination on these razor vines and black roses that are trees, turn off the hide, wake them up, placate, and then you go back into your hide and assassinate. It's easy enough. Not necessary, you can easily just fight them like a scrapper, but it does work. If you really want to assassinate them, that's how to do it. Now this little thing, I never worry about that. The fungi, I think it heals them. It doesn't heal them enough to matter. So I just leave them around. I just leave them. I don't care. It's one of the little pet things that they summon that I totally ignore. That's weird. These guys are threatening this guy's threatening the hostage, but this guy's ignoring it. That's unusual. So notice we're at about 82% to hit, even with focus accuracy running, against this +3. And if you noticed against the rubble, we were at 60 something. So they have like 20 defense compared to their fellow minions. There's almost never a hostage in there, but once in a while there is. I always try to check it. Oh, these guys. These guys are annoying. Let's do a little extra damage to make sure we one-shot them. Because I don't want the cairn to come out. Got him. Rebels I don't care about. I don't like cairns. So we've got some big inspirations here. I think I want to pop these back into our little inspiration bank in the base, just to make sure that we have some the next time we have to fight a really nasty enemy. And I feel like I had a dream. I did have a dream last night about fighting the Madam of Mystery. Right, from that, the Madeline Casey story arc. That I was fighting the Envoy of Shadow and I aggroed her too, or something like that. I definitely had a dream about it. You know, I've been playing a lot of COH when I'm having dreams about playing COH. Now you stay where you are. Grab him. Missed him. So he's going to just keep running. And that's where the like laser eyes will come in handy. Oh, I forgot to hide. Oh, he's got quartz. Alright, so we need to placate. And then assassinate, because I don't want to deal with this guy. And his quartz. Got him. I do love how I can just basically click those two powers and get myself back to full health and full endurance. Just in one click, just 2 clicks. It is nice to be able to do that. So yeah, guys, what experiences have you had over the years of whether it's video games, board games, things like that, where there's something you really enjoy and it goes out of print or out of production and you're struggling to either get hold of a copy or be able to play it or whatever. I find that really frustrating. I mean, it's understandable, right? Companies have to make money, but it's obviously really frustrating too. And one of the things that I also find frustrating is I live in an area where it's not like there are any. We have hostages back here. There's no hostage back here. Where is the last hostage? There really isn't a local store I can go to for this. I remember when I was in South Carolina. Get out, get out, get out. When I was in South Carolina, there was a store. Can't remember the name of it. They had new games, but they also had games that were they had like a trading board where people could like post used games that they were interested in trading or selling, and they would do that, which was really kind of cool. So anybody who and you could also say looking for, like, I'm looking for NATO, does anybody have it? Or I'm looking for Advanced Squad Leader, does anybody have it? Or this particular module for a game. It was actually really kind of cool. I don't know how much it was used, right? I was mostly going there to buy Champion stuff and Rollmaster stuff. But I always thought it was a really cool idea, and it seemed to get a lot of traffic. Here there is a board game there is a game store. The once I was in it, it just didn't seem like there was a lot of traffic in there. There was nobody there. I did go during the day, but still, I didn't really like. They didn't have a good selection of anything other than It was like basically a Magic the Gathering store with other game stuff, and they didn't really have a good selection. They had terrible selection of D&D stuff. I did buy a set of Bard spell cards because I thought I was going to be playing a Bard and then never used them because, well, I didn't play a Bard. I became a GM. But also, after I got the cards, I realized the print was so small on them that even with my glasses on, it was tough to read. So, I only been to that store once or twice, and that was before the pandemic. I don't know what the store is like now. It was sort of a weird situation because it was owned by a couple, I guess, and then they divorced. And then the husband got cancer, the ex-husband got cancer and died, and the ex-wife took over the store and was kind of like running it in his memory, sort of, which is weird because they were divorced. But I mean, I guess maybe it was one of these cases where they were divorced but still loved each other. I don't really know. Um, I do not know where. I do not know where this last hostage is. I mean, do we need to do a reveal? Let's go to the other floor and look at it, and then maybe we'll hit reveal and see if I've missed something. I don't think I have. Of course, all reveal does is show us the map, right? It doesn't show me if I missed any NPCs. Ah, maybe here. Let's try it. No, I don't think so. Well, guys, I'll pause it here. I'll look around once on each floor. If not, we're going to just autocomplete. I'll bring you back if I find anything. Found him. It's on the second floor right up here. And that should take care of it. If I hit. See? Okay, out we go. Alright, folks, so we are moving along. Let's see. Oh, we have to talk to Jennifer. Alright, let's finish this. We'll talk to Jenny in Founders Falls. So we'll just head over there. Founders. Then we'll talk to Ginger Yates, see if she's going to give us a story arc so we know what's coming. And then we'll stop. Oh, shut down weapons production. Okay, so we still have another mission to do, but we're going to stop here. And I will continue this tomorrow or later in the week. Probably tomorrow, because tomorrow's a holiday. It's MLK Day. Oh, wait, we're getting ambushed? Hang on. Guys, you could have hurt Jenny Firkins. None of that. No attacking contacts. Yeah, I can't remember who it was that was talking about how the contacts just stand in these dangerous areas and nobody attacks them, right? And somebody was saying, yeah, well, who would dare? There are level 35 to 40 superheroes coming over here at all times of the day and night to talk to her. And if you dare attack her, you're just going to get smacked, right? True for any contact, not just Jenny Perkins. Okay, we're going to stop there, guys. We are about halfway to level 39. And then my guess is you won't see much of 39. We're going to finish. We're going to do Ginger's story arc, whatever that is, and then probably Devouring Earth. And then we're probably going to not run out of contacts. Mostly I'll do tip missions and maybe some police missions or whatever to get XP. And then at level 40, I might do some Ouroboros too. But then at level 40, we will start our next season and start the next chunk of story arcs and contacts. But that's all in the future. Until next time, guys, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes, soloing the Stalker.